sisters were walking to the barn, and just next to us up in the air, there was it was a triangular shape, uh, uh, well, flying aircraft. But the weird part about it was is it had all the lights that you see on the ones that they talk about now.
Huh.
And it was silent. There was no engine. You didn't hear anything. And I just kind of let go of it because we lived next to an Air Force base, which at the time it was an Air Force base. Now it's called Gilbert Airport, but back then, we had airplanes flying all over the place, so I was used to hearing the engine from these jets when they were there, and this thing just kind of hovered in one spot, and I, uh, that was one thing that stood out to me. Me and my sisters all talk about it every once in a while. Me and my younger sister and my older sister, we all went up there together and we all saw it. Sometimes I get caught up in conversations on here where I say, well, I've never seen UFOs, so, I mean, until I see it, I've said it to you even, but
Yeah,
I gotta
I
keep
felt
fighting.
like I heard.
I gotta keep
Listen,
fighting.
was it a farm that you lived on? I just wanted to ask
Yeah,
you.
it was a
Was it
dairy farm.
so? It was a lot of land.
No, the one we lived in wasn't a lot of land. It was out in the desert, and you have flat barns, and then you have uh, like regular dairy farms where the cows can go out and pasture. But in flat barns, they usually have their cows in pens, so they were in pens, and it was like little pathways where you can lead the cows into the barn and take them back out to the pen. It
I
wasn't.
wonder why they came to you. Maybe they came to you just to come to you. Did you feel different after the encounter, or did you pretty much just go on with life like it was nothing?
I just went on with life, but it stuck in my head. That was about it.
Hmm.
You
And
know,
like, look
but
at the type of topics you talk about now.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But I mean, for me, it wasn't anything significant at the time. I didn't know back then the stuff I know now. But once I look back at it, because my sister keeps saying she sees orbs, and every time I look at them, I always debunk them because she's seeing dust and stuff like that. I know that's what it is because I've actually looked at this stuff, but she gets so mad at me, and then she starts mentioning the UFO. And I keep
Huh.
forgetting about it. You know, so
You probably strategically forget about it. Maybe you're programmed to not associate with it in regards. Were you ever in the military?
no, no. Well, it's like I said. I mean, we live just a little ways away from the freaking Air Force Base. So I
Yeah,
mean,
no, but I mean you yourself, because it's for a reason. Like, not everyone is able to understand what we gotta tell them because for a reason. And I'd like to know your role and why I'm so close to you. And it's just you're just something here with you. I gotta figure it out because, like, for a reason we told you something for you to maybe it's just for this, but it's more to it because you to know now and tell me there's something else inside of you that I have to get out. I don't know what it
yeah,
is
it's
though,
that's the same problem John has. He thinks he can get it. he
but you
just
know what
he
it
is.
is. You
Ask him.
just
He'll tell you.
you're
Type it in there, John.
pressing it on purpose.
He's
You know.
freaking. He just can't figure out why I do it. I mean, it's. See, you gotta understand, dude. There's evil things in this world, okay, and it's not just humans. If you believe that, then you gotta set yourself. I mean, if you don't believe that, then you'll set yourself up to things that can actually hurt you.
Humans are the least of anyone's worries. That's the problem. People give humans so much power and so much significance, but we're like they have no idea that they're just
Well, they're
nothing. Not to say it like that, but they're
they're
just
just as
tools.
bad because you gotta remember we got serial killers in the world.
But
You know,
half the time, those are not humans. They take human form. But a lot of
you
the
know.
time,
There's
yeah,
there's there there's things out there that's pretty bad though, is what I'm saying, and like
Humans
that's
hardly exist anymore. Most people aren't humans anymore, and they don't know that part either though yet.
yeah. We
I
better
don't know.
we better continue this until later. I read that fifth page, and I just don't want to get into that one because I like the idea that we stuck to basically the Skinwalker.
John says he sees dead people.
Yeah,
Me
he
too,
does.
but they're not even dead. It's just like it's just spirits transferring from different entities.
Now, John, before we get off here, you want to at least come off the mic and say bye if you're there.
Hi, Cat.
He might have fell asleep. He's getting pretty old.
Will you stop? Oh my gosh, John's gonna get you. I cannot wait to do the old man talking thing.
When you mentioned that was in agreement, on that part with the receptors in the brain and stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of goes into that, which, by the way, I think we both kind of came to a mutual understanding of it, because remember I was talking about you can't have just a spiritual life. It has to be physical, mental, and spiritual. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Interconnected.
interconnected. You can't have one without the other, And
Mm-hmm.
when you were talking about that, that's kind of what brought it up with me on like the trans-dimensional thing, because like when I was going over Skinwalker Ranch, what that doctor, what was her name again?
Rita.
Dr. Rita. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was talking about a lot of the stuff that I had read about, and there was also like strange things that happen that are just way beyond the Skinwalker, like UFO sightings and things like that, and then cow mutilations and things. And in the book, the most interesting part about those cow mutilations is like the people that freaking witnessed them was standing no more than maybe 3 feet away from these cows. And then they would turn their head one moment, turn back, and all of a sudden, bam, there it was right in front of them.
But no trace of anything that could have done it.
No trace. Nothing.
That's crazy.
See, and when I read that, that's where I started thinking about transdimensional beings or transdimensional entities that could travel between dimensions and do this stuff, because they've also talked about portals. They've talked about orbs and things of that nature,
Have you ever seen The Looper?
Well, describe what a looper is first.
Well, it's a movie. I mean, the movie itself, where they were like able to teleport and like transport from by teleportation, obviously rather quickly, just at a thought. And then how about Lucy? Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen Lucy.
Now, I believe, or I have it under great knowledge that we can obtain that level of education without any type of blue pill or type of robot stuff or anything like that. But when they say how you basically disappear, and they'll say if you do get to that level, you disappear. Now there's a way to maintain your physical existence as well, but it's why people kind of have those things to where you talk about like souls latching on to like just things in order to maintain their identity or to maintain their presence. So when you transfer yourself, because like you can interchange existences too with, but it would have to be very conscious. You have to be like it would have to be a very conscious transaction. It wouldn't be able to be. I mean, you could take someone else's identity through transferring, but they would be unaware, which would make it to where it would be an uneven transfer, so you would not be able to embody the full capacity of the potential. of like just like discussion, but there wouldn't be a reason to take someone weak. That would be more so it like you would exchange with something that is either equal or ascended as to you, and so or willing to do such. And so when you are transferring like okay, so we wouldn't want to obtain Lucy's level of education because supposedly you just turn into some liquid and just disappear. But the truth of the matter is, when you are able to transfer, it's not that you get weak, but you lose a little bit. So but you still have it in your spirit. So your physical is already different because you've transferred, and now your spirit has the access to the same capability, the same capacity, but because when you do any type of interaction, that's work being put in, and then that's you losing the amount of energy. You still be able to maintain, again, like I said, physical existence. You alter your physical existence without surgery. Like how you can see people who look so different. They'll make it seem like age. And like, oh, by the way, the Chandler guy did not drown, but whatever. And you will be able to, I don't know, if you change your cheeks, so like working out, and if you work out and you become a new position, that's a new physical existence. You really experience the death and a rebirth, and when with each transformation, each transition, you're able to, depending on what you transition into, experience a heightened awareness, a heightened intelligence. And so it's just cool because, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's cool to me because, like, we think that we have to kind of be limited by what we are and have no idea of what we can be because we've been told that all there is what we see.
Well,
All right.
that right there though is a block. You know what I mean? Like things that block you from progressing in life. You know what I mean? Like I think something's like up against your. Or is it really windy
Oh,
there?
it's the fan. No, it's the. Hold on. I'm laying up the fan.
Oh,
I'm
that,
off of it now. It's better, right?
yeah, it's a lot better. Now, like for me, that's what I think. I think those are blockers, you know, and I think they're put up on purpose because they're controls, and a lot of people don't really understand what controls are. You know, like we talk about control, people trying to control you all the time, but when you take a look at the actual idea of what a control is, you have to like think about when you go into a factory, you know what I mean, and they're working
Mm-hmm.
on these, they're working with this machinery and stuff that's dangerous. What they do is
Mm-hmm.
they put controls up to prevent you from touching this or going in this area, and they mark them off. You know what I mean? Those are controls, and
See,
they
it's
don't.
funny you thought of it like that. The first thing when you're talking about restrictions. Those are restrictions, but when I'm thinking of control, I'm thinking an operation mechanism of how the machine itself even works, and then being someone, something at the helm, even if it's just the code. They're the same with us because we are like the original code, and so like, but go ahead, because what I hear what you're saying when you're talking about being controlled or having control. It's something to
Or
where
having controls within your mind which are preventing you
mm,
from going
or
from.
someone else at your controller, like
Yeah,
someone else operating you. Okay, now that's where I see it more as like you, because we are, like we said,
or
we're computer
something,
systems.
or
Yep,
something.
something.
It
Energy
could.
itself,
Yeah.
and energy itself manipulating your sensories, manipulating your reactors, like yeah, and that's what this is currently. The whole we live in a simulation, as is above, as is below, like more like how I mean, like literally a recreation of what we actually are,